How did Luis Enrique take charge of PSG so spectacularly and establish himself as one of the greatest managers of the modern era? That was the question raised by journalist James Horncastle in The Athletic. The Spanish coach from Gijón has now officially entered the top 5 most successful managers in Champions League history, with 3 titles to his name. He stands alongside Bob Paisley, Pep Guardiola and Zinedine Zidane, while the all-time record still belongs to Carlo Ancelotti with 5 triumphs. Luis Enrique first conquered Europe with Barcelona in the 2014-15 season, before guiding PSG to their maiden Champions League title in 2025. Just 1 year later, he led the French side to a successful title defence, joining an elite group of managers, including Jose Mourinho, Jupp Heynckes, Ottmar Hitzfeld and Ancelotti. Since the competition adopted the UEFA Champions League format in 1992, only 2 clubs have successfully retained the trophy: Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain. PSG also became just the 3rd club in history to win both their domestic league and the European Cup in consecutive seasons, a feat previously achieved only by Real Madrid in the 1950s and Ajax in the 1970s. On top of that, Luis Enrique boasts the highest win percentage of any manager with at least 50 Champions League matches. To truly appreciate what he has accomplished in Paris, it is important to understand the club's turbulent past. Years ago, during Marco Verratti's wedding, Kylian Mbappe sought advice from Zlatan Ibrahimovic. The Swedish star bluntly told him to join Real Madrid and experience a football environment built on culture, discipline and high standards. The remark reportedly infuriated PSG president Nasser Al-Khelaifi, but Ibrahimovic was speaking from experience. He had identified PSG's fundamental problem. Despite having some of the world's finest players, the team lacked a collective spirit and a willingness to sacrifice for one another. In his autobiography Adrenaline, Ibrahimovic described the lack of discipline that existed within the club at the time. Sporting director Leonardo struggled to enforce authority because dissatisfied players could simply bypass him and complain directly to the president. Years of indulgence transformed the dressing room into a kingdom of privileges, where entitlement often outweighed responsibility. Eventually, Mbappe followed the advice and departed for the Bernabeu. Ironically, just before his departure, PSG had already begun transforming into the kind of united, disciplined and selfless team Ibrahimovic had always believed they needed to become. Since Qatar Sports Investments acquired the club 15 years ago, Al-Khelaifi has spent around €2.5 billion on transfers. He shattered world records to sign Neymar, brought Lionel Messi to Paris, and fought to keep Mbappe. Yet the Champions League remained the one prize money could not guarantee. Earlier this month, during an interview with CBS, Al-Khelaifi surprisingly declared that his greatest decision was not signing superstars, but appointing Luis Enrique. The Asturian manager introduced an uncompromising culture of discipline. Mbappe reportedly sat through private analysis sessions in which Enrique challenged him to emulate Michael Jordan. A player who could score points at will, but was also willing to fight, defend, and do the dirty work for the team. Enrique achieved what previous PSG managers could not: He delivered the club's first Champions League trophy and completed a historic transformation by recreating the collective excellence that defined Barcelona in 2015. At Camp Nou, he inherited part of the foundation built by Pep Guardiola. In France, however, he tore down the old structure and launched a complete revolution that changed the very identity of the club. That determination has defined Enrique since his early managerial days at AS Roma 15 years ago, when he was tasked with modernising Italian football. He reportedly cycled 80 kilometres a day to training and refused to grant special treatment to anyone, including Francesco Totti. Initial conflicts were eventually resolved through his integrity and passion, as Daniele De Rossi later acknowledged. Looking back, previous PSG managers such as Carlo Ancelotti, Laurent Blanc, Unai Emery, Maurizio Pochettino and Thomas Tuchel often struggled because they lacked genuine authority in a star-driven environment. The arrival of Luis Enrique, alongside advisor Luis Campos, and backed by a powerful message from Al Khelaïfi, marked the end of that era. The club abandoned its obsession with glamour and built a team focused on efficiency, balance and collective purpose, leaving no room for oversized egos. By combining strict discipline with a flexible understanding of human management, Enrique transformed PSG into a winning machine. 3 Champions League titles have secured his place among football's immortals. But his greatest legacy may be something even more valuable. He built a culture of winning from the ashes of arrogance, creating a powerful story about the strength of teamwork and the resilience of a man who has never backed down from a challenge.